It is April 1st and it says 62 degrees, but the feels like temperature is about 50. Update on the bluebells. This patch here is starting to open up pretty good, but then if we look over this way, we can see that it's still pretty green and not a lot of blue showing, so it's still just kind of patchy with the color, but as the week goes on, I'm sure we're going to see a lot more color. It's windy again today, guys, but that's all right because we're going to get out here and we're going to take our walk anyway. I hope you guys decide to move today, get out and take a walk or just spend some time outside, even if the weather isn't like super gray and sunny and warm. Still get outside, move, and enjoy the day. One thing that I was just thinking of and being thankful for is even with all the muddiness, in spring it's rain and mud and lots of it, but I was just being thankful for the way the water coming down the creek is just so pretty and so peaceful, and just enjoying like looking at the reflections here in the water and the way it's rippling up there. Just finding little things like this that we can be thankful for, even sometimes like in the messiness and the muddy season of spring. There's also a lot of beauty if we spend time and take some time to look for it. I think I've said this before, but it's worth repeating that there's beauty all around us if we just take time to slow down or to pause and to appreciate the beauty in the simple things and the everyday beauty that we often overlook because we see it all the time. There he is. I started walking this way and he had gone down the trail that way and then just now realized that I came this way. Of course, you've heard the thing where it's like, if you don't use it, you lose it. Or in regards to health, like you don't realize and appreciate your health until you're feeling sick and you're like, wow, I feel awful. I'm so thankful now for when I'm healthy because right now I feel terrible. And just that mentality of appreciating and being grateful for what you have and taking time to pause and be grateful for what you do have. Speaking from personal experience, because I think it was last summer where the temperatures were really hot and it was just a lot going on in life, and I stopped going for walks for several months. I wasn't consistently getting out for walks and taking that time for myself, and I noticed it a couple months later and like connected it in my mind. I was like, wait, I started feeling stressed and overwhelmed, this long ago. And I realized it was connected to when I had stopped walking every day and I had stopped taking time to get out by myself to where I could process my thoughts. I could pray and I could talk with God and just be alone and recharge my body. So then I was burning myself out without even realizing it. So I didn't realize until a couple of months later, just how important going for walks is for my personal well-being. And this is just for me. It could be something else for you, but make sure you find something that absolutely recharges you, refreshes you in mind and body and spirit, and make sure you get that time to take care of yourself, because as I experienced, I was just totally overwhelmed to the top and stressed out. And I finally realized, you know what, I'm not taking care of myself the way I need to be. And for me, it's going on walks. So that's something that's really important. It's just being aware of how you and your body needs to be recharged so that you can then go on and be a blessing to others. Taking time to rest is actually an example that God himself set. And even though, he's God, he doesn't get tired. He doesn't have to rest. He set that example for us because we as humans definitely get tired. We get sore, we get weak, and we need that rest to refresh our minds and our bodies and our spirits. And on the flip side of that, the devil knows if we are run down and weary and overwhelmed, if we're not well rested, then we're not going to be able to fully invest in others, to be a blessing and an encouragement and shine a light and show love to others like God wants us to. So if you ever feel guilty for resting, like I definitely have experienced before, and you feel like you can't stop, you must keep going, this probably is actually a lie from the devil and a temptation to feel guilty about resting, because the devil knows that if we're well rested, we're then going to be able to attack his kingdom better, and we're going to be able to pour into other people's lives to show them the love of Christ. So I want to encourage you, especially if you are a Christian, if you're feeling guilty about taking time to rest, to refresh your body and your spirit, then just know that's definitely from the devil, because he's trying to drag you down and keep you from being able to fully serve God and to show the love of Christ to others. As I was thinking about this just now, I was reminded of a verse, I believe it's in 1 Peter, that talks about Satan being as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And then another verse somewhere in the Old Testament, I believe, that mentions the devil and refers to Satan as going to and fro through the whole earth. As I was thinking about this just now, it occurred to me just how busy the devil is, the way he's moving constantly. That verse talking about going to and fro through the whole earth, he's constantly moving. Or as a lion roaring, he's moving, he's making noise, he's sounding ferocious. And that's just how the devil operates. He's constantly moving, he's constantly seeking to make trouble, and he tries to get us to do the same thing. And then the vast and stark contrast of the example that God set himself of taking a day of rest, taking time to be still and know God, like it says in Psalms. And then just that contrast of being still and quiet and taking time to not move, and the way that compares to how the devil is always busy and always moving. And it's just a really interesting and amazing thing to see how everything that God is good and beautiful and pure and holy and lovely, the devil is totally opposite and completely different. With that being said, I want to again encourage you to remember to run everything by the Word of God as a Christian, because if you're feeling guilty for resting, or if you feel like you're not allowed to rest, that's definitely not of God, because God himself set the example of resting. He instructs us, as in Psalms, to be still and know that he is God. And Jesus himself in the Gospels also set the example of taking time to rest. He was sleeping in the boat on the Sea of Galilee. He went up alone into the mountain to pray, and he took time to spend time alone with God his Father to refresh his spirit. God is never going to contradict what he has said in his word, the Bible. So anytime something comes up that you are not sure about, or you hesitate and you're like, is that really true? Make sure you run it by the word of God and run it through scripture to be sure that it is actually of God and not something that the devil is trying to tempt you with or distract you with. So I hope this was encouraging to you guys and a good reminder for you to make sure that you're taking time to rest as God himself set the example for us, and that you're not listening to the lies of the enemy and feeling guilty about taking time to be still so that you can refresh your mind and your spirit and your body. And I hope you guys have a great day. Make it a great day, and I'll see you next time. It's April 2nd. It's about 70 degrees, and we had storms roll through again last night, got more rain, bunch of wind that's still lasting through today. You can probably hear it in the background. Whole bunch of wind. We even had some tornado watches going for our county, but not actually a lot happened other than rain and lots of wind here. We're back here at these cutleaf toothwort, and they're fully open today. And the ferns just keep getting bigger, which is lovely to see. Up here on the top of this bank, you can see all of this green down below is those bluebells. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but there is a little bit of a blue haze going on with the flowers that are blooming. So we'll keep videoing. Hopefully we can really see that blue color coming in as they open up more. Here's a bit of a closer view of those bluebells coming in. Get down here. Lovely little flowers. And if the wind wasn't blowing so much, we would definitely be able to smell their fragrance in the air, which is just a really nice, soft, sweet smell. It's really pretty to see the sun reflecting off these ripples here down the creek as we're walking. Kind of nice down here in the creek because the wind isn't blowing constantly. So we might stick with the creek again today and stay out of the wind. Shadow found a deep spot in the stream here, cooling off because the sun is actually pretty warm. So if the wind wasn't blowing, it would be quite warm out here. I hope you guys are having a great day. Make it a great day, and I'll see you next time.
Welcome back, guys. It is April 3rd and it's about 55 degrees today, so it's feeling very much I always miss seeing them on the water. I was totally not paying attention because I was excited to start filming for you guys. And here we go, we missed the ducks again, but that's all right. We'll try to catch them another day. Shadow is ready to go walking, and I'm excited to get out here because I've been doing desk work today, editing videos and stuff like that. So I'm excited to get out here, be moving a little bit, and get my walk in.
Update on the bluebells. They look pretty similar to yesterday, but outside of the camera view, I can see definitely a bit more blue coming up through here, but the camera's just having a hard time showing because, you know, technology just can't compare to the human eye, so. Walking through the bluebells does feel like a challenge almost because you don't want to step on the beautiful flowers, but then they're also everywhere, kind of like grass, so then it's like, well, I guess I shouldn't feel too bad for stepping on them, but at the same time, I still try to walk around them, so it's kind of fun because we get to stop and look at the flowers like this. Now we're back to the main path, so we don't have to worry about walking on any flowers. And if we pause a minute here, so I can hear several woodpeckers, tufted titmouse, and then I can also hear frogs in the creek, which is over there. But those frogs are so loud, you can hear them all over the place.
It just feels so absolutely calm out here, especially after yesterday with the wind blowing just so much. And even when you're out here in the woods, the wind still cuts right through the trees because obviously there's not a lot of leaves and greenery out yet to block that wind when you're in the woods. But today it is so calm, and it's such a stark contrast to yesterday where the wind was blowing just everywhere.
I just can't get over it, guys. It is so still and calm and peaceful out here, and just the only sounds are the birds and the frogs right now. It's just beautiful. So all of these bluebells obviously have a light, kind of soft blue color, but every once in a while there's certain spots where we can find some that are totally white and the entire plant blooms this way. So I don't know if it's something in the soil or genetic or what, but every once in a while, and there's more in different spots, but you can find white ones. And then also in some spots there are some like a light lavender color, as well as very rarely a solid pink bloom. Shadow's got a squirrel up in the tree, and I was just saying the other day that when you come out here, and Shadow is the absolute terror of the woodlands because squirrels just run at his very presence, so he definitely lives up to that name in regards to squirrels.
I was just thinking here, like how I was pointing out the white bluebells amongst all the other blue ones, and just the variation of each of these different flowers, even though they're all the same plant and species, they have so much uniqueness to each plant and each flower, and it just made me think of Psalms 139, where about the middle of the chapter it says, I will praise thee, speaking to God, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. I think it's just so amazing that the creator of the universe, that God himself, created so many different unique and beautiful things that are sometimes so similar yet vastly different from each other, and just the beautiful way that every person is unique and has a purpose, and just as every plant and animal each has their own purpose and way that they were designed to be able to best serve their purpose. Just like every plant and animal has a unique purpose and are designed to fulfill that purpose in the way that only that animal or plant can, on an even greater and more incredible scale, God created each of us humans with a beautiful purpose and design that would glorify Him because we are made in God's image. For someone like myself who creates online content and tutorials and videos for people, I think of the phrase created to create, and it just reminds me that God Himself created us in His image, and God, being a creator, designed us to also be creative and to be thinkers and to just use our minds and our bodies to create beautiful things and to glorify Him in doing so. And before you say, I don't know how to create anything, I don't think creativity is bound by a certain set of skills or the know-how of how to do certain things or make something, but it's more a using the abilities that you have as a unique individual and bringing those things into the world to your best ability and to bless others and also to glorify God. I believe that God created each and every person with a unique purpose and unique abilities that only that one person has. So you have something that you can offer to the world that only you can offer. There are people out there that need to learn the way you can teach. There are people out there that need to hear your encouraging words in the way that you have to say them. There are people out there that will only be able to be lifted out of despair because of encouraging words and a joyful spirit that you have that no one else they have come across has in them. I'm only going to mention my channel because it applies to what I'm talking about right now, but I have a channel where I teach wire jewelry tutorials, and on that channel, the reason I started creating those tutorials and videos is somewhere I heard someone say that there's someone out there who needs to hear it the way you have to say it. I think about that quote often now in regards to other areas as well, where I have something unique in my life. My experiences are unique to my life, and my perspective is unique to me because no one else has seen my experience through my eyes. So that's one way that I know I can encourage other people and hopefully bless them by sharing my life experience, sharing my faith with them, sharing the gospel, and just encouraging them to really just live a life that glorifies God, because ultimately we were created on earth to glorify God and to worship Him and to praise His name and to share that beauty with those around us. Like the quote I said earlier, created to create. God, the Creator, created us in His image. So we're basically, miniature creators. Like the word Christian, Christian means little Christs. So as a believer, as a Christian, our example and the way we live should reflect that of Christ in the Bible, and so that we can be truly called a Christian or a little Christ. There's a quote out there about your calling will crush you. And by that, it simply means a refining, like an olive is crushed to make olive oil, or the way silver is put into a furnace to burn off the dross and to clear the impurities. And in the same way, each of us may have to go through some difficulties, some trials, some different experiences that will help us to grow and to become more mature as people and as Christians, so that we can then more fully fulfill our purpose that God has called us to. There's more ball. I wore my mud boots out here today, but it's actually not quite as muddy as I was expecting, even though we had a bunch of rain. I believe it was yesterday night. We've been having rain so many days this past week. I don't remember which day it actually rained and which day it didn't. And then sometimes it rained at night and sometimes it rained through the day. But it's actually not as muddy out here as I was thinking. But I put my mud boots on anyway because I wasn't sure just how wet it would be out here. But it's not too bad actually. Did you find me? Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. I'm just kind of in awe of the silence that is out here today and the calm and quiet. So I'm going to stop recording, finish out the video here, and just put the phone down and enjoy the quiet out here. Maybe find a place to sit for a while. But I hope you guys are having a great day. Make it a great day, and I'll see you next time.
April 4th, it is 47 degrees and it's been raining all day today. A very cold and wet spring day today, but we're going to get out here and walk anyway. The weather is still showing rain on and off for the rest of the day into the evening, so it is quite a bit more chilly than the other day. So I threw on a rain jacket / windbreaker over my hoodie because it's just chilly enough that an extra layer is nice, especially when we're walking out here and we've got a slight breeze. So just added another layer so that we could enjoy our walk better. Like I've mentioned before, there's not really such a thing as bad weather. You're simply, not prepared for it or inappropriately dressed. So be sure to get outside today, guys. Make sure you're dressed in the correct gear and correct clothing and get outside anyway and enjoy some outside time, sunshine if you've got it. And then, like, I don't have sun today, but we're still getting out to move and get out for a walk. And update on the bluebells, guys. A lot of these are very much open, so you can start to see all across here, just that blue color. It's definitely harder to see through the camera lens than it is with the naked eye, but you can see just a little bit coming, and there's still quite a bit of buds along with some of these open ones. So this plant looks like it's mostly bloomed out, but there are quite a bit of buds still, like this one here. So we'll be seeing more of those flowers come out. Look at Shadow being all cute in the flowers. Well, maybe not so cute. He looks like he's hunting for something, but such a pretty boy. Do you come back to find me? Am I walking too slow? I love the way that he will run ahead and explore, but then he comes rushing back to find me when he doesn't see me behind him anymore, and it's just the sweetest thing ever. One thing that I've noticed with how I'm getting out almost every day, or at least consistently getting out through the week to go for walks through almost a whole year now, and then starting into 2025, I'm out here as well and consistently getting outside for walks. One thing I've noticed is that my body is more quick to adapt to whatever the weather is on that current day. If you tend to be inside a whole lot, your body is not going to be able to quickly adapt to the differences of the weather because you're simply not used to it. On both ends of the spectrum, summer and winter, with the heat and the cold, summer, for example, if you're inside a lot in the summer, your body isn't exposed to the sunlight, just to light outside in general, to the hot temperatures, then your body's going to have a hard time dealing with those when you are outside for a longer period of time. And then in the same way in winter, if you're not used to being outside and you're suddenly outside for however many hours in the cold, your body's going to react differently than if you are daily out in the cold and your body has built up I don't know if you could say like a callus or a resistance to whatever temperature you're dealing with because your body is used to it, and it's basically like exercising a muscle, but it's your whole body. I'm definitely not a very sciencey or nerdy numbers kind of person. I don't know all the scientific names and terms and all that kind of thing, but I can tell you for sure, just because of my own experience from being outside consistently for the last, I want to say 2.5 years, I've definitely noticed a difference to where my body is more quick to adapt to whatever weather I'm in, whether it's in the winter. I don't get cold as easily as I used to 2 years ago. And then in the summer, because I'm out through the springtime into the summer, my skin doesn't burn because I've been out already in the springtime and I've already built up like a skin callus to the sunlight so that when summer comes around, I more likely am to tan than to burn because my body is used to being outside and in the sun through the whole year. Like I said, this is simply my personal experience, so you have to take it at that and take it as you will, because this is what has worked for me, and this is how my body has responded to it. So for you, it might work differently, and for someone else, it might work a different way. I think the general idea would work for everybody, but it would be applied to different individuals differently because we're all made differently and our bodies are all different. And, some of us have lighter skin and some people have darker skin. We all have different bodies, all created uniquely. And it's a beautiful thing that way. But that means we have to make sure that we are paying attention to what our body specifically needs so that we are being healthy and living in a way that is best suited for our bodies. It's pretty muddy out here again, and we've got puddles throughout the way. So Shadow, of course, is a mess, and we've got muddy boots and everything going on. But it's beautiful to be out here, and if you're moving, it doesn't feel too chilly at all. Here we go. Well, guys, we're going to keep on heading back towards the house because I am hungry and we're making pizza for supper tonight. So we're going to go make some pizza and have us some pizza. I hope you guys are having a great day. Make it a great day, and I'll see you next time. April 5th, it's about 45 degrees, but the feels like temperature is upper 30s, so it's a bit chillier today than yesterday. Shadow's looking for me. Hey! Oh my goodness! Come here! Wait. There you go. All right, guys, you can see the bluebells are showing quite a bit of color today. The most we've seen all this week so far. It's looking really pretty, and I wish the camera would show what I can see with my eyes, but this will have to do. It feels cooler than yesterday when we were out here, so I'm glad I threw on my work jacket over my hoodie because the wind is making it feel a lot colder than it is. But we're gonna get out here and walk anyway, maybe spend some time in the creek, but I think we might just take our usual walking path today and enjoy some time out in the fresh air. Good boy. Did you guys know that these flowers on the redwood trees are actually edible? They kind of taste like sweet peas, like fresh sugar snap peas. So they're pretty nice, but of course it's a small flower, so you could use it to like garnish a salad or something, but obviously you wouldn't be eating a whole bunch of it just because they're such a small flower. This is a kind of random patch of these May apples, but I wanted to stop here and show you guys. This is another type of wildflower, I guess. I don't know if any of these have. Here we go. This one's got a little bud. We'll keep an eye on these different May apples that are popping up in the woods, and I'll show you the flower once we start seeing them bloom. Here is a bigger patch of those May apples coming up. As you can see, they're not up a whole bunch yet. They kind of look like little umbrellas actually, coming up out of the ground. So as you can see, these are still pretty early. but there's a whole patch of them here. The tufted titmouse up in the tree right there. This is really nice, guys. The sun is peeking through after a full day of cloudy, rainy, and just dreary weather. The sun is coming through. A shorter video again today, guys, but I hope you're having a great day. Make it a great day, and I'll see you next time.